Good afternoon, everyone. This is Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting coming to you with some breaking news. We are seeing reports that multiple people are dead, perhaps children, I don't know at the moment, in a school shooting in Northern California. Multiple dead, many injured. I am literally just getting this information in. We were just doing another stream on the UCLA basketball players being released. So let me just get you the information as soon as I can get it to you. So this is from Breaking 911. They say Rancho Tehama shooting, at least 3 dead, several crime scenes, including elementary school. Witnesses reporting hearing hundreds of rounds. So it looks like perhaps it wasn't just a school shooting, maybe a school shooting at maybe a shooting at multiple locations. I'm seeing Rancho Tahama. Let me look up Rancho Tahama and show you where that is in California so we get a better idea. Rancho Tahama is with a population 1485. It's northern California. There's Rancho Tahama. That's where it is. So that's what we're talking about. Let me see if I can get you some more information here. Breaking 911 has this. They have a video where it says, man says his roommate was fatally shot in Northern California, says he alerted authorities, gunman was crazy. Let's watch a little of this from Breaking 911.
Crazy thing is that the neighbor has been shooting a lot of bullets lately, hundreds of rounds, large magazines, and we've made it aware that this guy has been crazy and he's been threatening us and everything like that. We just feel like maybe a little crazy.
And how's your roommate right now?
Unfortunately, he's not good. He's dead.
So I can't verify that video. That was posted by Breaking 911 and by Stara Simpson. I can't verify it, but just trying to get you the latest information on this shooting. Reportedly multiple dead, hundreds of rounds fired in Northern California. Here's Associated Press is reporting it. Authorities say 3 people killed in shootings at multiple locations in California, and the shooter has been killed by law enforcement. Students, plural, students were shot and wounded at an elementary school. So we have school shooting and other shootings at multiple locations. Looks like multiple locations, including a school. Some students have been shot. Let's try to get you more information on this. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting's live coverage of these shootings. Please give me 1 second here to pull up some more stuff for you. Very strange, I had CNN on just in the background before. They're not reporting on it yet, but Associated Press is reporting on it. Breaking 911's reporting on it. Let's see if I can get you some others. Let me try one other source here and see if I can get that if that's helpful. This information is just coming in here to us, and it's quite not good, the information we're hearing. Yeah, very little coverage of this out there, so just trying to get you what I can. Again, let me show you that Associated Press tweet again. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to show you. That's not from Associated Press. Here it is. Authorities say 3 people killed in shootings at multiple locations in California, and the shooter has been killed. The shooter has been killed by law enforcement. Students also were shot and wounded at an elementary school. And students shot and wounded. See if their story has anything. Shootings at multiple sites kill 3, wound kids at school. Authorities say 3 people have been killed in shootings at multiple locations in rural Northern California, and the shooter has been killed by law enforcement. Students also were shot and wounded at an elementary school. Tehama Assistant Sheriff Phil Johnson tells a TV station in the city of Chico that officers are investigating at least 5 crime scenes. At least 5 crime scenes being investigated. In Rancho Tahema Reserve, about 130 miles north of Sacramento. Wow. Jennifer Quist, an administrative assistant with the Corning Union Elementary School District, says no one was killed at the school, but a number of students were shot and wounded. Okay, this is important information. Let's see. I'm going to post a couple tweets here. School official. No one killed at the school, but a number of students shot, and wounded. I also want to post, authorities say there are 5 crime scenes. So I think I want to update the headline, because the headline says multiple dead in school shooting, and it looks like, I think it's more like California shootings. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can get you any new information here. It's been kind of hard to get this information about what's going on. Again, I have CNN on in the background here. They're not covering it. Let's see, is MSNBC covering it? Yeah, MSNBC is not covering it. So we have this mass shooting, multiple locations in Northern California. A number of students at an elementary school have been shot and wounded. But can I get you more? What else is here? Oh, here we go. Breaking 911, doing a good job covering this. Witnesses say California gunmen drove up to elementary school, opened fire through the windows. That's kind of frightening. So that's Breaking 911 reporting that. If you have any, if you hear any news updates about this, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner, and then I can share them with everybody out there. Sorry, I didn't even have time to get the chat room open here. Thanks to the moderators for moderating our chat in both the YouTube chat room and on the website. We appreciate it. Oh, some tweets are here. There's some pictures. Let's see. This is from Breaking 911. Several crime scenes, multiple shots fired. The school has been evacuated. Let's open some of these links up and see what's going on here with them. Here's a tweet from Jim Schultz where he says, a court reporter. Let's see. What is this? Actually, I think it's the same guy as before. I don't know if we're allowed to use this. So if it's a professional, somebody who's going on professionally shooting footage, I don't want to take their footage. So let me just see what else is out there on that. You can look up at Jim Schultz _RS. Actually, you know what? I think it's tweeted out. The person did tweet it out, so we're not. I'm going to show you a little bit of it because it's not like we're going into his hard drive and taking his footage. He did post it on Twitter. So this is Jim Schultz who posted this. You can see his address right there.
I was in town and I got a call. I got a call that my roommate was injured and it was from the neighbor, and that there was an incident and a shooting and that my truck was stolen. And the crazy thing is that the neighbor has been shooting a lot of bullets lately, hundreds of rounds, large magazines, and we've made it aware that this guy has been crazy and he's been threatening us and everything like that. We just feel like
Okay, so he said his roommate was shot. Here's something from Sarah Stinson. Hold on, Sarah Stinson posted this video.
I don't know what time the call came in. It was right about 8 a.m. We had multiple shots fired in Rancho Tehama. That evolved to multiple victims and multiple shots at the school, the elementary school. I am told at this point the suspected shooter is deceased by law enforcement bullets. That's what I'm told. I don't have a list of victims. I don't know how many victims. I know of at least 3 deaths. I don't know any information at this time about any of the victims at the school. I know that we have medevaced a number of students. I know that the school has been cleared. I know that we have the children that were attending school in a safe location at this time. That is, you now know really what I know. Okay? We have about 100 law enforcement personnel in Rancho Tehama right now with multiple scenes. I can think of at least 5 scenes that I've been told about. So we are spread thin, but we have a lot of resources right now, and you can see that we're still requesting ambulances and we're still doing our work. That's the only information I have.
One thing I noticed there, sorry about the sound there for a second, is that he said a number of students have been medevaced. I don't know, when he said a number of students have been medevaced, does that reflect on the seriousness of the student's condition, or does it reflect on the fact that, I mean, I'm guessing their condition is serious, but also, you know, it's possible that this is northern rural California here. Maybe they don't have like a hospital nearby that can treat, you know, basic gunshot wounds or something, and maybe they, so my point is, you know, sometimes when you hear medevac, you think like that's you know, perhaps the most serious of conditions, but maybe it's more likely they'd medevac somebody for a less serious condition if given that it's a rural area. I just don't know. But he did say a number of students have been medevaced, students, I guess, who were shot at the school. And he said at least 5 crime scenes. And also, I don't know if the 3 dead is just going on this one press conference. Because in this one well, it wasn't even a press conference, it was just a statement by a police officer there. But in this statement, he didn't say 3 dead total. He just said 3 dead, and I'm not really sure about the other scenes. He said he didn't really know much about the school. He knew some students had been medevaced. So we're going to have to find out more about this, you know, about what went on at these different crime scenes. But a shooting at multiple scenes, 3 dead confirmed by authorities, confirmed that students were hit and injured and medevaced at an elementary school. Let's see if we can find more information on this for you. If you have updates, give me a shout on Twitter, at Lookner, at Lookner. Wow. Sarah Stinson also reports there are at least 100 law enforcement officers on the scene of 5 different sites where the shooter opened fire. That's from Sarah Stinson. Okay, we don't need that. We saw that before. Okay, let's see if I can get you any new information here on this. We are covering this mass shooting incident in Northern California at Rancho Tahama. Rancho Tahama is north of Sacramento. That's where Rancho Tahama is. And that's where Rancho Tahama Reserve is where this happened. Again, if you have updates on this, it's very odd. I'm not seeing any reporting on MSNBC about it, on CNN about it. It's like no one's reporting on this mass shooting, including a school. Is Fox reporting on it? Fox News is not reporting on it, so we have no reporting on it, but we are reporting it here. It seems like an important story, so we want to get you the latest on this story. Let me check some other sources here. So going over what we know so far, we have 5 crime scenes. We have 3 dead. The shooter, I heard, had been shot and killed, but I haven't had that confirmed. We know multiple students have been shot in an elementary school, which is one of the 5 crime scenes, and they have been medevaced. Some of them have been medevaced at least. And we're just trying to get you more information here. It's not being covered on TV, so I'm just going to different sources here and trying my best to find out new information. Albo Breaking News just posted about it. Oh, did they take their post down? Let's go back. I want to play that press conference again that was posted by Sarah Stinson. It's a statement from the authorities. This is a statement. This is the only real statement from authorities we have, and it seems like a lot of the information we have right now that everybody has is going off this one statement. This is posted by Sarah Stinson from, she is with one of the news channels. The news channel she is with is Action News Now. She says, I guess maybe that's in Chico, but it's Action News Now. But let's watch this statement.
I don't know what time the call came in. It was right about 8 a.m. We had multiple shots fired in Rancho Tehama. That evolved to multiple victims and multiple shots at the school, the elementary school. I am told at this point the suspected shooter is deceased by law enforcement bullets. That's what I'm told. I don't have a list of victims. I don't know how many victims. I know of at least 3 deaths. I don't know any information at this time about any of the victims at the school. I know that we have medevaced a number of students. I know that the school has been cleared. I know that we have the children that were attending school in a safe location at this time. That is, you now know really what I know. Okay? We have about 100 law enforcement personnel in Rancho Tehama right now with multiple scenes. I can think of at least 5 scenes that I've been told about. So we are spread thin, but we have a lot of resources right now, and you can see that we're still requesting ambulances and we're still doing our work. That's the only information I have.
So that was the, I guess, a police official there. And what I want to do real quick is just update the title of this video. Right now, the title says multiple dead in California school shooting. And I want to change it to multiple dead in California shootings, including school. Okay, let's see if that worked. Okay, I just changed the title of the video because I want to clarify that we do not have reports yet that this is a shooting at multiple locations, not just a school. We've heard reports from that police official there, or officer, said that he did not say any dead were at the school. He said there were multiple wounded students at the school, but not dead students. So we don't know yet if there are any deaths at the school. He also said that the shooter, he had been told the shooter was deceased and killed by law enforcement. Okay, let me just update things here. And I want to get you guys get you guys some more news. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting. If you have any news updates on this, kind of hard to come by right now. Not seeing much news posted on it, strangely, and I don't see any of this channels actually covering it on TV. But we are covering it here live. If you have updates, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Let me know. All right. So one of our viewers wrote me and said, showed me an interesting story that I saw posted. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Hang on one sec here, guys. Let me get this up on the screen. Where was it? Somebody wrote me with a message. Let me just find it for you because I thought it was a link to a story that I thought was helpful. Here it is. Somebody named I Stand With Trump wrote me this. And now WJZ Baltimore posted 3 dead in Northern California after shooter targets home then elementary school. Now, I hadn't heard about the targeting home before. So let's see what this story says. I want to turn off the video, I'm sorry, if I can. Authorities say 3 people have been killed in shootings at multiple locations in rural Northern California. We knew that already, and the shooter has been killed by law enforcement. Oops, sorry, let me turn this off. Everything is autoplay video. We knew the shooter, we'd heard the shooter had been killed by law enforcement. Students also were shot and wounded at an elementary school. It's not clear if the shooter was included among the dead. Nothing here about the home. So I don't know if this headline is just wrong. I feel like maybe this tweet is inaccurate. This tweet says 3 dead in Northern California after shooter targets home, then elementary school. I've heard nothing about a home yet anywhere, including the story. So as of right now, I'm not going with that information. But thanks for sending that in. That's an interesting link. See if I can find some new information here. It's kind of crazy how little information has been coming on this and how it's not really being reported on to me. Multiple students shot and wounded in medevac at a school, at an elementary school, and 3 dead in multiple locations, and we have no reporting on it. Yeah, and everybody is quoting that one interview we saw. I might just play it again because that's really the only information we have is from that one interview. That's what everybody is quoting. That if this interview didn't exist, I think no one would have any information on this. So let's go to this interview again. I just want to show it one more time. This is with a police official in the area. This was Rancho Tehama, California. It's Tehama County, I guess, in Northern California. And this was posted by Sarah Stinson with Action News. And let's just watch this again. This is all we really know right now.
I don't know what time the call came in. It was right about 8 a.m. We had multiple shots fired in Rancho Tehama. That evolved to multiple victims and multiple shots at the school, the elementary school. I am told at this point the suspected shooter is deceased by law enforcement bullets. That's what I'm told. I don't have a list of victims. I don't know how many victims. I know of at least 3 deaths. I don't know any information at this time about any of the victims at the school. I know that we have medevaced a number of students. I know that the school has been cleared. I know that we have the children that were attending school in a safe location at this time. That is, you now know really what I know. Okay? We have about 100 law enforcement personnel in Rancho Tehama right now with multiple scenes. I can think of at least 5 scenes that I've been told about. So we are spread thin, but we have a lot of resources right now, and you can see that we're still requesting ambulances and we're still doing our work. That's the only information I have.
Okay, so we are back here. I just edited the title of the video again just to try to get the correct information up there. So we have, again, that's like the one interview that everybody's getting their information from. And he says multiple dead. He said 3 dead. The shooter is dead. Not sure if the shooter is among the 3. Shooter killed by law enforcement. multiple students shot at an elementary school, multiple students being medevaced. We don't know if there are any dead students at the school. At this point, we have no information on that. And we're just trying to get you more information. So if you have more information on this, I'm going to keep checking my sources here. Reach out to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Also, if you want to know when we're coming on the air with these breaking news videos, we come on at all hours. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you subscribe. And thanks again to the moderators in both the YouTube chat and the website for being with us today and moderating the chat. Okay, let me just see if I can find some new information here. Hearing some unconfirmed reports that the shooting started at a home, but I haven't had that confirmed anywhere. The only I saw, a TV station reported it in their tweet, but then the story didn't say anything about a home. So I've heard nothing of really that confirms that the shooting started in a home. Oh, you know what? The whole time I'm looking, how crazy is this? This says, Sarah Stinson says it started at a home. I totally missed that Sarah Stinson says it started at a home. I apologize. I was doing so many things, and I kept showing this clip and showing this tweet. This says it started at a home. So, did he say it started at a home? I don't recall him saying this. Did he say it?
When the call came in, it was right about 8 a.m. We had multiple shots fired in Rancho Tehama. That evolved to multiple victims and multiple shots at the school, the elementary school. I am told at this point the suspected shooter is deceased by law. I don't have a list of victims. I don't know at least 3 deaths about any of the victims at the school. Students, I know that the children that were attending school, that is, we have about right now with multiple scenes. I can think of at least 5 scenes that I've been told about. So we are spread
now,
thin.
I wonder, Sarah Stinson posted this 2 hours ago and it said, started at a home. It's possible Sarah Stinson misheard what he said. He said, we got a call about shooting in Rancho Tahama, and then it evolved to shooting at a school. She might have misheard that as we got a call about a home shooting and then the person went to the school. That's not what he said. All he said is that we initially got a call about a shooting, and then our information evolved, and then we realized it involved a school, and now we know there are multiple scenes, but nothing in what he said it was at a home. So I still haven't heard it confirmed that the shooting, one of the scenes was at a home. I don't know. Okay, so we're covering this shooting, at least 5 crime scenes, at least 3 dead, multiple students at an elementary school shot in Northern California. No one's covering it on TV for some reason. I don't know why. But we're just trying to get you the latest information. Very little information at this point. It's a small town where this happened. But seeing if I can get you more information. If you have more, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Yeah, one point Linda Belk reminded me of is that there's that interview with someone who claims that their truck was hijacked, but I don't know if it was hijacked by the shooter. Let me show you that interview again, because that's the only other piece of footage we have here. Sarah Stinson says, here is part of an interview with the man who says his truck was stolen and his roommate was shot and killed by the alleged shooter, who is described as a known felon in his 50s named Kevin. That's from Sarah Stinson.
Stolen. And the crazy thing is that the neighbor has been shooting a lot of bullets lately, hundreds of rounds, large magazines, and you know, we've made it aware that this guy has been crazy and he's been threatening us and everything like that. We just feel like maybe we're a little crazy.
How's your roommate right now?
Unfortunately, he's not good. He's dead. He didn't make it. And, you know, for his family and everything like that, you know, I feel bad. We'll be there for them. I don't know.
How are you feeling about this all since you knew he was a problem, you said?
I just feel like maybe there should have been more effort put into potentially stopping things like this.
So he said his truck was stolen and his roommate was shot and killed by the shooter. So I wonder if that was like a truck carjacking, and I don't know if well, it sounded like he knew this person. He knew something about this person. So it's hard to say, was this a carjacking? Was this a targeted shooting of I guess, the man's roommate? So hard to say right now. Trying to get you more details on this. And don't know if there's any connection between, well, again, supposedly there are multiple locations of this shooting. Paul Sanabria, thanks for your support of Right Side. We appreciate it. And Paul says, great work again. This is where I get real news. Thank you. And thanks to the people who share what they find. Yeah, thanks to everybody for sharing stuff with me. If you find stuff, new stuff on this story, let me know at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. Oh, now WLWT based Cafefe just sent me this link. 4 dead after gunman opens fire on multiple sites, including California elementary school. Now, I don't know if the 4 dead includes the shooter. Let's see. A shooting involving multiple scenes in Northern California has left at least 4 people dead. A shooting happened at an elementary school in Rancho Tehama Reserve around 8 a.m. local time. There were injuries at the school. A 6-year-old and another child are among the injured. So they say 2 children are among the injured. The Reading Record Searchlight reports a 30-year-old man has been taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the thigh. At least 7 crime scenes. At least 7 crime scenes. Multiple students have been airlifted from the scene, according to Assistant Sheriff Phil Johnston. So apparently that interview was with Assistant Sheriff Phil Johnston. A man spoke with KNVN and said his truck was stolen and his roommate was shot and killed by the gunman. We saw that interview before. He's dead. He didn't make it, the witness said. The roommates lived near the gunman, and the surviving witness, as we heard, said their neighbor had been shooting a lot of rounds recently. The crazy thing, again, we heard this from the interview, the crazy thing is that the neighbor has been shooting a lot of bullets lately, hundreds of rounds, large magazines. He said, this guy has been crazy and he's been threatening us and everything. I just feel that maybe he should have been more effort, there should have been more effort into stopping things like this. Let's see this other story here. This is the Record Searchlight in Reading. 5 people, they're saying 5 confirmed dead. 5 dead, including shooter. Okay, this is new. I want to post this actually. Give me 1 second. Let me post this. Five now confirmed dead, including shooter in northern CA shootings. So I just want to get that information out of my Twitter. See if that worked. Good. Let's get back to the article. So we have 5 people confirmed dead, including the shooter in the Rancho Tahema shooting. It's a small community. Now they're saying, Under Sheriff Phil Johnston said there are 7 shooting scenes. 7 shooting scenes. Wow, I'm going to tweet that out too. Authorities now say 7 shooting scenes in northern CA incident. Wow, 7 shooting scenes. Let's see. 2 children were also shot and wounded. There may be more victims. There may be more victims. The shooting started shortly after 8 a.m., according to a Tehama County Sheriff's deputy, who confirmed 2 children have been hospitalized with gunshot wounds. Multiple shots were fired. Okay, some of this is old news. So the guy, I guess, who we saw interviewed before, the neighbor was Brian Flint. Brian Flint said he got a call in the morning that his roommate was injured and that his truck had been stolen. It turned out his neighbor was the gunman, Flint said. The crazy thing is the neighbor has been shooting a lot of bullets lately, hundreds of rounds, large magazines. Living near the gunman was hell, Flint said, and the man was a known felon who often harassed him and his neighbors. So it sounds like perhaps, if this is true, this person who did the shooting was a known felon. The Rancho Tahema Reserve, a subdivision home to about 1,485 people, is described on its website as a quiet, private country community located 12 miles west of Interstate 5 between Red Bluff and Corning. The community is a place where people are friendly and the pace is relaxed, the website reads. A helicopter medical crew reported they were transporting a 6-year-old victim to Mercy Medical Center in Redding. The child had 2 gunshot wounds, according to emergency scanner traffic. A second child was reported to have been shot in the right leg. A 30-year-old man was also being taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the right thigh. Now this is odd. This says initial report said somebody was barricaded in a structure and there were multiple victims. However, we've heard now from law enforcement they think the shooter is dead and killed by law enforcement. Well, let me get Jim Schultz. Let me get this next statement here. This is a statement from, I believe, the assistant sheriff, from Phil Johnson, who is an official there. Let me just show you this. Oh, we already saw this statement. This is the same one we saw before. From Sarah, that Sarah Stinson posted. I do want to follow Jim Schultz, though, because he's posting about this. All right, so again, to sum up what we just learned in this article, which was just updated apparently, from the Record Searchlight, 5 people are confirmed dead, including the shooter. So 4 dead and the shooter. Several students injured. They say a 6-year-old has been medevaced. Several students at an elementary school have been shot. There are 7 crime scenes in this shooting. 7 shooting scenes. And it looks like they're still figuring out how many people have been hurt at these different scenes. Let me try to get you more information. If you have more information on this, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. We've heard some reports that this began in a home. Those reports are unconfirmed. Let me show you this tweet from Sarah Stinson here. Some information we just heard. She says, confirmed there are 5 people dead. Age is unconfirmed. There are 7 different crime scenes spread across Rancho Tahama. Multiple people injured, including 2 children. That's a nice little sum up, so I'm going to retweet that. Again, no coverage yet on TV about this. I have not seen, I'm looking at the news networks, and I don't see any coverage about this. I have no idea why a shooting with multiple victims at 7 different locations, including multiple students being shot, doesn't warrant news coverage, but we are covering it here at Right Side Broadcasting for you. If you want to know when we come on the air with this break, well, I'm guessing everybody's focusing on Jeff Sessions and not focusing on this story. So if you want to know when we're coming on the air with these breaking news videos, we do it all the time, breaking news. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you subscribe. Also, you can follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting and on Twitter at @RSB Network. Let's keep going and trying to get you more information. This is it's a developing informational story. It sounds like the shooting is done because the law enforcement said the shooter has been killed, but we're just trying to get you the latest information here. The information kind of keeps coming in, and it doesn't sound from like the authorities that they have full information yet. Let's go back to that story from the Reading Record Searchlight and see if they've updated it at all. Okay, I want to show you again that post, that interview with, this is somebody who is reportedly a neighbor of the shooter who's now deceased, and he says his neighbor was shot and killed by the shooter. And he's described as a known felon in his 50s, the shooter, who's named Kevin. So let's watch this again, posted by Sarah Stinson. Sorry.
Stolen. And the crazy thing is that stolen. And the crazy thing is that the neighbor has been shooting a lot of bullets lately, hundreds of rounds, large magazines, and you know, we've made it aware that this guy has been crazy and he's been threatening us and everything like that. We just feel like maybe a little crazy. That's it.
And how's your roommate right now?
Unfortunately, he's not good. He's dead. He didn't make it. And, you know, for his family and everything like that, you know, I feel bad. We'll be there for them. I don't know.
How are you feeling about this all since you knew he was a problem, you said?
I just feel like maybe there should have been more effort put into potentially stopping things like this.
So that was an interview with a man who reportedly is a neighbor of the shooter, whose roommate got killed by the shooter after the shooter stole his truck. That's what we're at least hearing. Yes, Charles Warren says single shooter. Yes, as far as we're aware, this was a single shooter who went to multiple locations, shot multiple people. We saw a report before that the shooter, that said eyewitnesses said the shooter drove up to his school and started shooting through the windows of the school. I can't confirm that. Just trying to get you more information. It's a little tough to get information on this story. Also, very odd that it's not being reported on by the different TV news channels. Just checking some different sources here to see if there are any updates. 4 people and the shooter, so 5 total, have been confirmed dead in the shooting. There are several students who have been hit and hurt. Oops, sorry, I just closed something. Okay, let's see if I can find you anything new on this. Now, somebody wrote me in. Peter H. wrote that KRCR-TV reports witnesses say there were 2 gunmen. I'm going to show you this link he sent me. 5 dead, 7 scenes being investigated after Rancho Tahema shooting. Officials said they are investigating 7 scenes. Killed 5 people, including the shooter. Oh, this is new. Under Sheriff Johnston said it was clear that they had a subject that was randomly picking targets. I want to post that on. He is the, what is he? The assistant sheriff. So I'm going to say suspect in Northern CA shooter was randomly picking targets. That's new information. We hadn't heard that. So that's the undersheriff who says it was clear early on they had a subject that was randomly picking targets. Oh, this is new. Johnston said they have received reports about a domestic violence incident that involved a suspected shooter. So that's new. Police. There was domestic violence. Wow, so that's new information. He was randomly picking targets, and there was a domestic violence incident that involved the suspected shooter, whose ID is not being released. This is new. One student was been shot, and they have been transported for treatment. Another child and a woman was shot while driving in a truck. They have also been transported. That information's a bit different from. There was an earlier statement from a police official which said multiple students were being medevaced. That's what he said. So. Maybe there's a little confusion there, or, it says right here, they do not have an accurate count of all those who have been injured. So, they're probably just trying to figure that out right now. The shooter was engaged by officers shortly after arrival, and they believe the shooter was killed by 2 officers who engaged with him. So this article does not say there are 2 shooters. This article seems to say that there's 1 shooter. Seven shooting scenes. Here's one. Here's a new report from an eyewitness. Coy Ferreira, whose daughter is a kindergarten student, was dropping his daughter off for class just before 8 a.m. when he heard what sounded like a firecracker. A school secretary ran out and yelled for the kids to get in the classroom because someone was shooting at the school. I was walking my child to the classroom because they blew the whistle for the first bell, and when the first whistle blew, it sounded like a firecracker went off, and we all stopped and were stunned. Then, like a minute later, there were 3 more shots fired. Ferreira said he ran into a classroom with 14 students. He said the series of shots came through the classroom windows, hitting 1 student. So the shooter apparently was shooting through the classroom windows. Ferreira said a young boy was shot in the foot and the chest. Wow. When he spoke to us, he said the child was alert and talking. He said another student in an adjacent classroom was shot under the arm. That child was also conscious. So we have reports here, an eyewitness report, of 2 students at the school who were shot. Wow, look at this. Within a minute, we were all buckled into our classrooms, and all of a sudden, there were gunshots going for a good 20 to 25 minutes. Now, I wonder if this 20-25 minutes is where maybe the shooter and the police were shooting back and forth at each other. We had heard a report earlier that someone was barricaded. So maybe the shooter barricaded himself and was shooting at police and back and forth for 20 and 25 minutes. Wow. Here we go. Ferreira said there were 2 gunmen. Okay, this is interesting. Ferreira said there were 2 gunmen. He saw one of them, a man in his 30s to 40s dressed in a green camo, running away from the school after the shooting. Now, this could just be, though, when he says there were 2 gunmen, for all we know, what he saw was the shooter and the police. As we said, it's possible that the shooter and the police were having some sort of shootout. So he only saw one of the gunmen, The man in his 30s and 40s, dressed in green camo, running away from the school after the shooting. So it's possible that the second gunman was actually a law official, a police official. He believes the gunman would have had to have shot from an elevated ramp in order to see the students who were hiding under their desks. I can't confirm. You know, that's what this eyewitness is saying, but I can't confirm that information. Okay, here's another eyewitness report. A witness named Tiffany, who operates Coffee Addiction Coffee Shop near the school, told KRCR News Channel 7 that she heard 90 to 100 shots fired. Again, we don't know if those all came from the shooter. Is it possible there was some shootout with the shooter and law enforcement? She reported seeing a Honda drive by with the windows shot out. She also saw at least 5 ambulances responding to the area. Tiffany's husband, Brian Rogers, said another witness reported seeing a white pickup drive through the school gate and start shooting. So this is an eyewitness report of a white pickup driving through the school gate and started shooting. I'm going to tweet this article out because it's helpful. Make sure that posted okay, and okay. Let's try to get you some more information on this shooting. So that was a thank you for sending in that story. That was quite helpful. If you have any updates on this, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. We're covering these shootings that happened in Northern California today. One shooter, 7 different shooting locations. Robert Klinkner sent me this story from NBC News. Let's see if there's anything new in here. I'm looking it over. I'm not seeing anything new yet. No, nothing new yet here. So we have heard that 5 are dead, including the shooter. So 4 deaths behind the shooter. Multiple people injured. Multiple students at a school were shot where the shooter was shooting at the school through the windows, reportedly. A viewer named Jody, aka Deplorable, says, the police have been called numerous times out there. The courts do nothing. Rancho Tahama is full of drugs and mental health. That's what it's known for, unfortunately. I cannot confirm this information. That's just from a viewer. It's a viewer who wrote in, so I can't tell if that's true, but I'm just passing that along. One of the viewers wrote that I should follow this person. Where does it say it here? I want to give credit to the viewer for writing in. Now I can't find the message, but somebody told me to follow this person, Cecile Juliet, and she's posting about it. So, I think I was already following her. No, I think I just followed her. Anyways, she said she's an actor. I guess she's shooting this stuff herself, and she says 5 dead in shooting, number of casualties could rise. So I think she's doing this. What is KHSL? That's my question. Oh, that's an Action News Now in Chico. Okay, so she works for a station. Okay, that's helpful. Let's see what she says in this post here. She gave a little update.
Here's what's happening. We do know. Okay, here's what we know so far. This is an incredible scene. Take a look behind me. Here's what's happening. We do know that 5 people have been killed. 5 people have been killed by a random shooter here in Rancho Tehama County. Someone who was known to authorities, and there are 7 crime scenes right now. We have this area taped off. We're about 15 minutes from the community of Rancho Tehama, and I'm actually surprised we're getting cell service right now. This is an area that's known for being a dead spot when it comes to cell service. So we're actually very lucky that we're able to bring you this information from the scene. So 5 people dead. The Assistant Sheriff of Tehama County, Phil Johnston, says that that number could rise. Here's what we know. Around 8:30 this morning, one man who was apparently known to law enforcement and was already involved in a domestic altercation, and according to a witness, out on bond for stabbing another woman. Apparently he had many guns, and police were always being called to his home because he was always shooting off of his guns. Apparently this morning stole a truck, we understand, possibly, and then just started going to random locations and shooting people, and eventually went to the school here, an elementary school, shot more people. Several people have been flown to another hospital for treatment. The assistant sheriff said 5 dead, and that number could change. We have multiple wounded. And see this truck over here, right there, that's taped off? That truck was actually shot at, and some of the windows are missing. I'm being called. I'll update you more shortly.
Cecile, can I use your phone?
Yeah. Stole a truck, we understand, possibly, and then just started going to random locations and shooting people, and eventually went to the school here, an elementary school. Here's what we know. Around 8:30 this morning, one man who was apparently known to law enforcement and was already involved in a domestic altercation, and according to a witness, out on bond for stabbing another woman. Apparently he had many guns, and police were always being called to his home because he was always shooting off of his...
Okay, I apologize. I know my sound was not working for a second. So the thing is, one new piece of information, important piece of information we got from this report from Cecile Juliet of KHSL is she said the authorities said that he was out on bond for an incident in which he stabbed another woman. That's what she said in this report, that he had previously stabbed another woman and was out on bond for that. So that's a new report. I had not heard that before. Anyways, let's see if we can get you more information on this. Sorry that my sound was out for a second. I'm aware of that. trying to find more information on this. If you have any info, feel free to send it to me at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. Also, I post about breaking news all the time, so you can follow me at Lookner if you'd like. And also, to know when we're coming on the air with these videos at Right Side Broadcasting, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. We're at RSB Network. Thank you to the moderators who've been with us during the broadcast and for letting me know about this story while I was doing that previous stream about the UCLA players. In the YouTube chat right now, we have Barbara Braille, JC, and I don't know if there have been other moderators there before, but thank you guys for moderating, and thank you Common Sense and Gleno on the website. Thanks so much for Frank Sorley for supporting Right Side. And Frank Sorley says, I'm moving to North Norway in 3 weeks, my wife and 3 dogs. I lived in South my whole life. I think, Frank, you might be telling the chat room that and not me that to say on the broadcast, but thank you, Frank, for your support of Right Side. All right, I'm trying to get just more information about this. Let me see if any of these stories have updated here that I had opened before. Checking some different stories here, seeing if there's any new details. Sorry, there's a little noise outside the studio right here. You're going to hear some buzzing noise for maybe like 2 minutes or something. I apologize. I have no control over that. Let's see here. Oh, this is new. Hang on one sec, guys. This is Jim Schultz posted this. Jim Schultz posted this. It says, Rancho Tahama man Salvador Tello said he was taking his 3 children to school when gunmen fired upon a truck in front of him. He said he saw bullets strike the truck in front of him, and he put his children down to protect them and put his truck into reverse, it looks like. As he left, he saw the woman lying dead in the street, and her wife, wounded husband next to her, was told help was on its way. So it looks like this eyewitness told Jim Schultz he saw a truck in front of him get shot and a woman killed and the husband wounded lying on the ground. Wow. Pretty terrible story there. That was Jim Schultz reporting that.
At the scene.
Oops, sorry. Hold on 1 second, guys. I want to make sure I had this on the air. So
That is being headed up by.
stop playing.
Matt
What's
Hansen,
playing?
the Red
Where is
Rose
that video coming from?
Investigators and
Sorry. Again, I wanted to show you there was that report there. I wanted to make sure I just had these tweets on the screen. I think I did. I got a little confused here. And then the last one was this. So this was Jim Schultz saying, I think I had this on the screen. He says he left, he saw the truck in front of him. Eyewitness saw the truck in front of him get shot at, and then he saw a woman lying dead in the street and her husband wounded next to her. Was told help is on its way. So we have 5 dead, including the shooter, 7 shooting scenes. Several students have been injured at an elementary school. The shooter is reportedly killed by law enforcement. We heard a report that the shooter was out on bond on a domestic violence incident, on some kind of incident where he stabbed a woman. And let me just see if I can get you anything new right now. Okay, well, it looks like at this point the information is slowing down. So I think at this point we're going to, maybe in a couple minutes, we're going to wrap up the stream. Sky News is reporting on this story. They say at least 5 people, including the gunman, have been killed, and at least 7 people. Well, this is new. At least 7 people have been admitted to a hospital. That's a new detail. I hadn't seen that before. At least 7 people have been admitted to hospitals. Still on that wall says, Steve, there are only 3 homes on Bobcat Lane there in Tehama, so it should not be that difficult to ID some of the people involved. Now, did somebody say, did I miss it? Did somebody say this happened, something happened on Bobcat Lane, and that's where the shooter lives? Is that what I had not heard that report, but maybe I missed it in something I read or something. Oh, Ruth Jensen wrote it, and it's Rancho Tehama. Rancho Tehama. That's how you pronounce it, according to Ruth Jensen. Thank you, Ruth, for writing in. All right. So I think at this point we're going to wrap up the stream, just because we seem to be getting very little information at this point. I will post more updates on my Twitter feed throughout the day when I get them, if I get important new updates about this. So follow me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Also, to know when we're coming on the air with these breaking news videos, we do them all the time. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you do subscribe. And just so you know, we don't you know, we are viewer supported and we are funded by viewer donations, but we don't ask for viewer donations on broadcasts like this for obvious reasons. On a normal, like a political news broadcast, we'd be asking for donations every, few minutes or whatever. But in case you do in the future, maybe tomorrow you say, I like that they covered this story because no one else was covering it. If you would like to support Right Side Broadcasting and help keep us on the air so we can cover stories like this and lots of other stories, the way to donate is you can always go to one of our YouTube chats and go to the bottom on our live broadcast and click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat. There's a little $ there, or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. And again, we would normally ask for donations throughout the broadcast, but we don't do that on a broadcast like this, again, for obvious reasons. But if you would like to support us, we do appreciate it, because that's what keeps us on the air and allows us. On a day like this, I didn't see any of the mainstream media networks actually even report on this once. They've been so busy talking about Jeff Sessions, they never reported on this massive shooting with multiple victims, including students. But we thought it was important, and we wanted to come on the air and cover it for you. So also, you can follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting and on Twitter at RSB Network. Appreciate everybody who wrote in, and thank you once again for helping us cover here the breaking news. When we cover breaking news, you help us cover it. A lot of you wrote in during the broadcast with links, and we really appreciate that. Thank you, Paul Sanabria, for supporting Right Side. Paul says, God bless. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, so thanks everybody who wrote in and shared news tips with me on this story. And also thanks to the moderators very much, Barbara Brayley, JC, and all the other moderators who've been, Guinevere, who've been helping out in the chat rooms moderating during this broadcast. And okay, that's going to wrap it up for now. Our thoughts go out to all of the victims. I mean, so many victims. Looks like we have 4 deaths beside the shooter and at least 7 injured. And it looks like we might even hear about more injuries here. So a lot of people hurt and killed in this shooting at multiple locations in Northern California. So our thoughts are with all, and our prayers are with all of them, and we hope for a speedy recovery for those who are in the hospital right now. So that is going to wrap it up for us here right now at Right Side Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for those of you saying thanks in the chat room, like Carolyn, and it was Rancho Tehama, California, by the way. Rancho Tahema. And if you missed the beginning of the coverage, you can always go watch it on YouTube. It'll be posted. You can watch the whole thing again or watch the beginning part you missed. So thank you. And Jason Thornton, everybody else in the chat room for saying thanks. Thank you. And DJ Guy and who else was saying thanks? A bunch of people there. Okay, that's it. We're wrapping it up for now. Thank you for joining us and for helping us cover this news story today at Right Side Broadcasting. If there's breaking news later today, we'll definitely come back on the air. So subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you subscribe. And that's it for now. And we will see you soon with more news, I am sure. This is Steve Lookner for Right Side Broadcasting. Have a good day. We'll see you soon.